One of the fundamental concepts in R and in programming in general is that of a variable. Conceptually, you can think of a variable as a name that stands for a value, and it works much in the same way a post address does. Namely, a post address is a conventional name followed by a number that everybody shares to refer to a specific building. So you can think of a variable as an address that refers to a constant value, or object as we call it in R. Here the variable name refers to the string Alex. Since all R values have a specific data type, think of the analogy of a specific building that belongs to the type of buildings. A variable does not belong to a specific data type, but it refers to a value that has its own data type. In our case, the value Alex assigned to the variable name is of type string, but the variable name does not belong to any type. Only its value does. In other words, variables can also be thought of as typeless names that refer to objects. Both of these definitions I just mentioned are identical. Okay, now, how do we create a variable? Or else, how do we assign a value to a variable? The answer is by using the left direction arrow, which is a combination of the less than symbol with a hyphen. On its left side, you use the variable's name, with no quotes around it, and on the right side of the arrow, you place the assigned value. The arrow is also called the assignment operator. Here, I assigned the value first string to the variable called first_variable. Lastly, the assignment is completed as any other command that you edit on the console by pressing the Enter key. Then, the R's interpreter is called to evaluate the assignment statement. Notice that after pressing the Enter key, nothing shows up on the console. That doesn't mean that something is wrong, it just means that R has done its job and now the variable and its values have been recorded in the memory. You can then use this variable's name to easily access the value assigned to this variable, and you can do that by simply typing the name of the variable and then pressing the Enter key as I did here. You can also change the value of a variable by assigning it a different one. The first_variable is now assigned the string not really. Now let's see the kinds of restrictions R puts in naming variables. I could name a variable human_being_123.world and assign it the string with my name. But I could not name a variable starting with a number, as you can see here with the 123_human_being.world. Also, you cannot have variables starting with an underscore. Let's try a dot in the beginning of the name, followed by the sequence of digits, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, it does not work either. However, if a name started with dot was followed by a character, the variable is created successfully. Lastly, I cannot use reserved words in R to name a variable. Reserved words are keywords in R that have a special meaning. For instance, I could not use the word for as a variable name. For is a keyword especially reserved for starting a for loop, as you will see in later tutorials. Summing up on the naming conventions, variable names can be a combination of letters, digits, period, and underscore. It must begin with a letter or a period. If it starts with a period, it cannot be followed by a digit. And reserved words in R cannot be used as variable names. R variables resemble the variables used for language data research. This means that they both stand for a value and express a single feature. For instance, glc_L1 is a variable that stands for a vector of the glc.sample package and encodes a language data variable, namely the first language of 100 students. glc_L1 is then an R variable that links the concept of a first language with the actual collected student data. The process of linking scientific concepts with the collected data through variables is often called operationalization. The variable glc_L1 is the result of operationalizing the concept of a first language recorded in the collected sample. Before finishing this tutorial, make sure you take one more walkthrough of the code on variable assignments and the R's variable naming conventions. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel by pressing the relevant button on the video or on channel's homepage, and then, in order to get updates when new videos are released, you need to activate the bell notification that stands on channel's homepage.